Hello everybody, it's Emily and I am back with another anxiety talk. Now, just before I do start, I just want to have a quick run on here because I live in the UK. So if you guys live in the UK, and do you guys love watching EastEnders? I absolutely love EastEnders, but so many of my favourite characters are leaving and some of them have left. And I've just found out today that the character Dottie is also leaving. So I'm so worried. Like, what the hell is going on with EastEnders? Are like the people not liking it anymore? Are they fed up with it? Are they not being treated right? Because I mean, loads of people say, oh, they want to pursue other careers, but it's like, why? And as you guys know, I love the character Rocky, and I am so scared that he's gonna like leave at some point. And today that we find out that Dottie's leaving, it's like, oh shoot, it is a sign. So yeah, I'm actually like very worried. Like, what is going on with EastEnders? What is going on with it? I mean, we've lost so many characters. Some of them are like leaving, some of them are gonna die, and it's awful. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I've had a very difficult week. I really thought that, shortly after I posted my last video about, finding a reason why your anxieties are bad, shortly after that, that's when it got bad again, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So this anxiety talk is talking about like worrying about your loved ones. Now, this type of anxiety is again like a very difficult, because and it's weird though, because sometimes like whenever I worry about a loved one, sometimes like I worry and then I try and get reassurance, but very rarely I have that moment where like you have like such bad anxiety that you just can't stop crying, or like you feel like it's grief, you feel like it's depression or something. It's kind of like that. And you're not going to believe this, but this worry I had over a loved one was actually my cat Cookie. Now, if you've probably like spotted her a couple of times on my videos and a couple on my TikTok, but the week that I've had with her has been an absolute nightmare. It has been absolutely terrible. So I want to tell you all what's actually happened, and hopefully I will go over this, because this was literally like the worst type of a loved one fear that was really like creeping up on me. So yeah, so shortly after I posted my last video, I was feeling great. I felt good. I did a TikTok, saved it in my drafts, and then I come downstairs and then I see Cookie, my cat, and like she looked up, like she was like waking up, but her eye wasn't opening as much. Like it was like that, like that, and the other one was quite wide open. And that was when I was like, what's wrong with your eye? What's wrong with your eye? Can you open your eye? And like she hardly slowly like opened it up, and it wasn't, and it looked so different. It looked really different. It was like, her eye was a little bit darker than like the other, and it wasn't like wide just as much as the other one was. And I was home alone. My mum was at work. My sister was out with her boyfriend. So I was by myself with her, and I didn't know what to do. And I was, really panicking, thinking, oh my God, because this happened like last Sunday and like the vets were closed. And I was like really panicky. And that's when I started crying, because believe it or not, I'm pretty sure you'll know this, but a couple of years ago, I had a cat named Smudge, and he only lived for like 3 years. He only like lived for 3 years, and we had to put him down. And that time was again the most awful thing that happened, because what happened to him was that he swallowed something and it got stuck, and it made him so ill that they couldn't operate on him because he wouldn't have survived it. So we had to put him down, and that really did affect me. Like when he was unwell, it was so awful. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is with me, but like that's the same with like having kids. It's like, you know, you see a loved one not feeling well, and it really does break you. It's like it breaks your heart, and you feel so guilty, but you feel like a lot of anxiety, and like you want answers, you want to know what the hell is going on, and you know, you want reassurance. And so my mum called me up, and again, I told her what was happening, because believe it or not, they spotted it, like her eye, the day before, like Cookie's eye the day before, and I didn't even see it at the time. I really didn't. And then last Sunday, that's when I noticed it. So my mum called me up, I tell her what's been going on, and then like she said, you know, if like there's no change, come by tomorrow, then I'll ring up the vets and see what they say. And I took pictures of her eye, I showed them to my mom, and I was crying because it was just so awful. It was just horrible. It was like, oh my God, I'm going through that again. Like, we're going through that stage where Cookie's going to have to be put down. And I don't know how we're going to cope with that, because I mean, with like your pets, they're like your little babies. They're literally like a part of you, and they're like your family. And it's so heartbreaking. And it's like, the horrible part is the reality of like letting them go. And that's what really scares me. Like, that's, I mean, and I know that because I mean, Cookie's like 10 years old now. So she's at that stage where like, oh my God, it could happen at some point. And with what happened to her eye, it was just like, oh my God, it really did affect me. So yeah, and we all agreed that, you know, it looks like she just scratched it, because I mean, I mean, I even like Googled like, why is my cat's eye looking so smaller than the other? Why is she twitching it? And, you know, I Googled like a scratch in a cat's eye, and the symptoms were a little bit the same. So my mom decided to, you know, just give her like until the next morning. If her eye's not better, we'll phone up the vets. So we wake up the next morning, and again, I'm still in a state of upsetness, and I don't know if that's even the right word, of more like sadness, and like I couldn't stop crying. I think this was like an anxiety cry, I think I should call it. And her eye was looking a lot better. She opened it up a little bit more. And, you know, again, my mum said, it's all right. I'm not going to phone up the vets, because I can see a difference. And every single hour, my mum would like, you know, put some like warm water on like a cloth and just gently do that. And believe it or not, that actually helped. It really did help Cookie open up her eye a lot more. And the thing was, I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so she, you know, she was doing that a lot, and it really did make me worry, because it's like, oh my God, my mum's petrified of like losing Cookie, and you know, and this and that, and you know, like, so yeah, for about 2 days we noticed a change in Cookie, and I woke up again another day, and I was like, right, enough is enough now. I can't keep crying. I have to do my thought challenges now, which is a very perfect tip that I learned when I was in therapy. And I would love to do a talk about thought challenging, but describing what to do is actually quite difficult. So yeah, but here are my couple of tips really. So apparently what I didn't even realize I was doing, we was all thought challenging. So we all thought, okay, so you know, Cookie's eye's a little bit, you know, small, and it's very twitchy. So what are we going to do? Are we going to phone up the vets and worry, or are we just going to like sit tight and see how she goes? So we did that. We you know, we waited, which was horrible. And then like we discovered a change. And then I asked myself, like, has she had this before? And I was like, she must have done, but never this long has she like suffered with something like this. And yeah, and then we just thought, you know, let's just see how she goes. And you know, like, is she like unwell? And that's the thing with Cookie, is that, you know, she's so active, she's so energetic, and you know, even though that she does have a scratch in her eye, she still does those things. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with her whatsoever. So, you know, we put that in our mind. She was like, you know, as long as like she's happy, she's eating, she's drinking, then we don't really need to like worry. So yeah, I would say that's what our thought challenges were like doing. and it actually like helped me out a little bit, and I didn't really like cry as much. I still did cry a little bit, but day by day her eye was getting a lot more better. So, and then that's when I realized, I thought, okay, that's when my anxiety like slowly lowered down a little bit, and we thought, okay, day by day the eye's getting better. My mum hasn't phoned up the vets, so I know she's not worried. And that's another thing as well, is that my mum always says to me that if there was something odd or if there was something wrong, then she wouldn't hesitate to phone up the doctors or phone up the vets. She would do it in under a second. So yeah, and you know, Cookie's over there, she's asleep right now. But yeah, her eyes looking so much normal now. It's still, she still like twitches it a little bit, but like winks a bit, which is all right. But I have googled, like, you know, scratching the eye and how long it takes for it to last. And you know, we are still a couple of days in. I think we're like on day 7 now, when usually it takes about maybe like 14 days or like 5 days. But we have seen a massive difference in her, which is amazing. So again, I'm not having anxiety over it as much. I still feel a little bit worried about her, but yeah, no, we are good. But the annoying thing is like, I've tried telling my mom how I've been feeling, knowing that, you know, there's going to come a time when that is going to happen, when we're going to have to let her go. And my mom kept saying to me, oh, you know, we'll worry about it when the time comes. But the thing with me is that I don't want to worry about it when the time comes. It's so awful, because I mean, whenever like my Cookie is like sick or something, or if there's something a bit odd with her, again, I constantly cry. And I feel like, do you know what? It's probably like the grief. It's like when you cry because you're grieving. It's sort of like that. And I think it's because of like the upsetness, or like the sadness of like when we gave up Smudge. I mean, you know, seeing him sick killed me, and it was like, I've never felt so heartbroken like this before. And I think deep down it literally, I brought everything back, all like the memories that I had of Smudge. And now the same thing was going to happen to Cookie, and I thought, I can't go through that again. And it's really awful, because I mean, sometimes like at night when she like lies down on my bed, I always like wonder, is this going to be her final Christmas, or is this going to be her final year or something, or like, are we going to have to give her up at Christmas time? And that's what was going through my head, and it was so awful to feel like that. And you know, it was really bad. It was absolutely horrible to feel. And yeah, but no, we are like convinced that, you know, she just has a scratch in her eye, and it's completely fine, because you know, her eye's looking a lot more normal, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, and like, that's the problem with me though, is that if I keep crying over a cat because they're sick, or because they've got a scratch on them or something else, or like an injury, it's like, how the hell am I gonna be when I have kids? That's what really triggers me off sometimes. And it's good that, you know, I haven't had kids yet, and I'm just like, how in the world can anyone go through this? How can anyone go through that? Like, you know, you have a baby or something, and then the minute you bring them home, they're constantly crying, they're constantly sick. The amount of times you have to rush them to A&E, spending hours in like the night time not knowing what's going on with your baby or like your kid. It's just, oh my God. And like, especially like with sick children, it's like, geez, how can anyone go through something like that? I don't know. And that's what I'm still trying to get my head around. It's like, geez, you know, like if you have kids, you know that's going to happen. You know you're going to go through stuff like that. And it's like, how in the world are you going to come around the other side of it? And it does make me realise that, geez, no wonder like so many women and even men suffer from postnatal depression and everything. And it's just so sad. You know, it's really awful. And yeah, so I just don't know how anyone can go through something like this. I mean, I know that, you know, people say, oh, you know, it's natural, it's very natural, but I think probably because where I haven't lived a long time or something, maybe because you know, like never experienced anything like this before. So I mean, I am like the youngest in like the family. I mean, my mom never had another baby after she had me. She couldn't have any more kids, which is very sad. But yeah, but I think, you know, maybe the way I grew up or something. I mean, my dad leaving at a young age. I mean, I never realized how traumatizing that can be for a little kid. So yeah. But anyway, guys, I just want to know that, you know, worrying over a loved one is like the most difficult thing when you have anxiety. And it's like you try and figure out what is it that's triggering off. Like, why are you so scared of like worrying of like a loved one? And it's more about losing a loved one. And that is like a really difficult thing to go through. And it's, I think the problem is that I don't have that many people around me, because I always like isolate myself, and I always try and get myself out there, but no, it's just me, my mum and my sister in one house, and that's it. That's all like we care about, really. So, and it's sad because I don't really have that many friends, but yeah, and it has made me realize, you know what, I need to start looking for love, start looking for somebody who will understand my point. So yeah, but this week has been literally so horrible. But then again, it's like I've had a few weeks of hell and it just doesn't want to go away. And it's annoying because, I mean, during like the winter season, that's when my anxieties like really do get bad and my mental health gets bad. But during like the spring and like the summer, it's so lively. And I didn't even like realize that until we was in the summer. And that's when I noticed it so badly. And it was just, it's like, how in the world am I gonna be able to make myself happy, not have any anxiety when you go through the winter season, because that is just awful. So yeah, I mean, I've literally not had a good couple of weeks, but then it's winter, so of course my anxieties are going to be bad, but it's completely natural the way I see it. So yeah, like the fear of a loved one is just an awful anxiety symptom. So I would say to anybody who's like going through this, try and like challenge your thoughts, which is so difficult to do. But I know one day you will get to that point where you're like, you know what, I need to think challenge about this, and like think, are they getting better? Is it going to get worse? Are they eating? Are they drinking? Have they had this before? So yeah, that is how I thought I challenge my thoughts when I have really bad anxiety. And you know, sometimes like they do work, sometimes they don't work, but when you're in a situation where you just can't stop crying, that is like the awful part of the anxiety. It's so horrible. Really is a difficult matter. So, but you know what? It's the end of the week now, and I'm praying to God, please, just let me have a good week. And that's the annoying thing as well. I mean, like, the other day, me and my mom, we went to visit the House of Commons, but I was not happy that day. I was really irritated, but I don't want to talk about it. And I was really gutted because I really wanted to like vlog and like film and take pics, but I was not allowed to, which is very disappointing. So yeah, but anyway, guys, I've got something very exciting to tell you. Next Saturday, I'm going to be riding on the Polar Express ride. I'm so excited. But sadly, it's not going to be in the evening. My poor mum, bless her, she couldn't book the tickets for the night because it was all fully booked. So I have to go during the day, which is very sad. But I'm so excited for it, and hope fingers crossed it will be okay, and I will get a chance to vlog and film and take snaps, and I will definitely post them on my YouTube channel because, you know, I'm desperate to like do vlogging again and vlog exciting places. But yeah, so fingers crossed that will be the next video that you will see, and hopefully I will be my better self. So yeah, anyway guys, I'll see you guys very soon. Hopefully you'll see a better me. If not, If I haven't uploaded, it's because my anxieties are bad. But do give me a follow on TikTok, and I will hope to God that we'll all be okay. Okay. See you later, guys. Bye.